Hey friends, on today's episode, I'm going to talk to you about the top lessons that I've learned from running a chair business. Stay tuned. I'm going to be talking all business on today's episode, and I want to share with you the top 3 things that I've learned from owning a chair business. Now, I have been in business for now 10 years. I started just as a hobby, then it just kind of became a side hustle, and from there it kind of bloomed into more than a side hustle, and I was juggling 2 jobs for a long time. And then about 4.5 years ago, I was able to quit my day job and do chairs full time, which I was so happy about. So what are some of the things that I've learned? And I've learned it all the hard way. So I'm going to give you these tips because hopefully if you're thinking about having a chair business, or you already have one, or maybe you have another kind of creative business, I think these tips can help you even in your other businesses. So the first thing that I've learned is that you need to go niche. And what does that mean? Well, that means that you need to narrow down what you want to do. Now, when I first started my business, I was doing chairs and trying to sell them and make some money, but I thought, nobody does just chairs. Like, that's a weird thing. I think I need to be an interior designer. I think I need to go back to school for my design degree. So I looked into it. I went down to UT. I had a tour of the campus and, asked them, and this was the changing question for me. I asked them, does anyone in your program work another job? Because I had a job that I had to work. And so the hard thing was that I couldn't quit my day job at that point. I had to have a day job. I had children that were getting ready to go to college. And I thought, well, I can't afford to go to school also and not work. And so that kind of nixed that problem. And so by accident, I decided to niche down into chairs, and it was exactly the right thing to do because nobody was doing it. I mean, a lot of people don't do that. So that's what makes it a smart move, when you decide on your lane and you go really hard and you lean into that. Now, not even just doing chairs, but the styles of chairs that I do, the way I do my chairs, it has all paid off, and I've carved out a niche. My niche is, antique or antique style chairs, and very colorful, bold, a lot of florals. That's what I am known for, and it's paid off. Now, something else about being very niche is that it takes a lot of guts. And what does that mean? Well, it takes a lot of guts to show people what you really love. And put it out there to the world. A lot of times creatives will create things that they think people want to buy. And sometimes it pays off and sometimes it doesn't. But what I have found in my business is that I did my best and I sold more when I really leaned into the styles that I really loved, and I became known for that. So back early on in my business, several years ago, I had someone reach out to me, an influencer, and ask if I would do some chairs for them. And they wanted some, and I was like, okay, I thought, well, they'll advertise me. And this is not to say that influencers don't work, because they do, but in this case, it didn't work for me. Because what she wanted from me were some grain sack chairs. And they were very vanilla looking. There was nothing special about them, nothing bold, nothing colorful. And I agreed to do it. And it was one of the biggest mistakes that I made, because I went outside of what I really wanted to be known for, and I did something like that. And would I want to do more grain sack chairs? Does that make me happy? No. So why would I do something like that? So that's one of the big mistakes that I made that you don't want to make. So definitely stay in your lane, stick to your guns, and lean in to the types of chairs or the types of things that you want to create. Show your personality. Don't be afraid to do it. The second thing I learned is that custom orders is really where it's at if you want to make some money, especially doing chairs. People love something that is customized for them. That's why I think the Etsy marketplace has done so well with people who customize, whether it's name tags or jewelry or chairs in my case. People want to feel that, number one, they have a hand in the design, even though you may be doing all the work and you may really be designing it. People like to feel like they have a say. And second of all, people like to feel like something was made especially for them. And so custom orders is really the way to go if you want to make some money. What does this involve? It involves conversation. It's not that hard to do. It's going back and forth. What do you like? What do you dislike? I mean, I typically ask questions like, what is your favorite colors? What colors do you really hate? So that I know to stay away from those colors. And so these are the types of questions I ask to get the conversation going so that I know what the client wants in a custom order. So the second thing I learned, take custom orders if you really want to make some money. Okay, so the third thing that I've learned is that you need to go higher on your prices than what you're comfortable with. We always, as creatives, price ourselves way too low. And the problem with this is, number one, you're not going to make any money when you don't have a very good profit margin, when you're spending almost as much making the chair as you're selling the chair for. You're not making any money. You've invested all this time. So number one, you're not making as much as you need to make. And number two, when you get a higher price for whatever you're creating, but I'm going to say it's chairs, when you ask a higher price, you are reaching into a clientele who's not going to balk at having to ship the chairs, which is going to cost a lot of money. So you want someone who's already used to paying that and saying, yeah, okay, no problem. It's a delight to work with people who are used to paying more money for their things, and they're not going to nickel and dime you to death. It's a job. That's what we got to think about. What we do, it is a job, and I am working. And yes, I may enjoy my work most days, but it is still a job. No one's going to go into an accountant's office and say, would you take a little bit less for your work? No one's going to do that, right? People shouldn't do that to you either. And so when people do ask you if you will come down in your prices, you need to have a pat answer, and you need to say something like this. Oh, I'm so sorry, but I don't negotiate on my chairs, or, I don't discount my chairs. I'm so sorry, and leave it at that. Don't open it up for discussion. Don't doubt yourself. Always price your chairs a little higher than what you're comfortable with. I guarantee that you'll get a sale eventually on those chairs. Stick to your guns. Something else you need to also think about when pricing your chairs is that it's all about perceived value. The person who is looking for chairs, if they think your chairs are valuable, if it is something they're attracted to, they're going to buy it. It really doesn't matter so much what the price is to some degree. If people love what you have, they're going to buy it. And if it's priced higher, they're going to perceive those chairs as something that's very valuable. So that's another reason to go a little higher on your prices than what you're comfortable with. And after a while, you will become comfortable with those prices. And how do you know when you need to raise your prices? Since we're talking about this, you need to raise your prices when you get too many orders and you're becoming overwhelmed. That's when the price needs to go up. And don't doubt yourself. Everyone feels it. Even I do. Every time I do it, I'm like, oh, great. Am I going to get any more orders? You will get more orders. It is amazing what people are willing to pay when they think of something that's very valuable and they want it. So I hope these tips have helped you if you're thinking of having a chair business, or maybe you already do, or you do something else creative that you sell. Just remember that going more niche in your market is really the right thing to do if you want to stand out. Number two, custom orders are where it's at. So take those custom orders, get in a conversation with people, and by the way, don't do any design work before you have an order. Number three, go higher on your price than what you're comfortable with. If you follow these 3 tips, I guarantee you're going to be miles ahead from where I was when I started out. And I've had to learn the hard way. So good luck to you, and I hope you have a great week. If you have more questions, let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you like this episode, be sure to hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, make sure you do that. I hope you have a great day, friends. Talk to you soon.